Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming back to Deb Chanel's 40X World, where we do the bold and the beautiful recaps and reviews. We're going to go over the one that aired on Friday, April the 7th, 2017. We're going to get right on into it. We have Sally. Still don't want to use the Forrester Creations designs that Grams and Saul are wanting to use to keep the company afloat. Okay, Graham says he will kick you to the curb, and she's talking about Thomas, sooner or later. Sally don't believe her, so she tells Saul to tell Sally what he's found out about Thomas. Now, I don't know where Graham's, Saul, Darlita, Sally, Coco, all of them, where they were if they were into fashion. Didn't they look at the social media blogs, the tabloids? When anything happens in the celebrity world of fashion, did they not? Where were they? In a cave somewhere? When all the comings and goings were going along with Ridge trying to pass Thomas's son off as his, and this, that, and the third, and the public statement that they had made to the press. I mean, where were they? So it was all known facts put out there by them on Thomas being a father and somewhat dating his or messing with his father's fiance at the time, but Ridge had thrown her to the wolves pretty much. I had got what he wanted from her and called the relationship off. When Thomas had came in and got a little over himself and drinks were, being served and things just happened. He didn't rape her. He didn't do anything of that nature. So it was a consensual sexual interaction. So I just don't know where they were when all of this was going on. But Saul said he got it from the internet. Sally don't believe it. She said Thomas would have told her. And of course, I'm like, oh, Saul tells Sally he found out. Okay, it is, check the internet. It's all true. He had a child by Caroline Spencer and this, that, and the third. So Sally's shocked that she knew nothing about this, and Gramps is telling her that she cannot back out of what they need to do, which is steal Forrester Creations and pad their bank account for the positive instead of being in the negative. And she just really painting it on real thick that Thomas is just using her for his flavor of the month. When he gets bored with it, he's going to go back to Caroline. Just putting all of those false, bad, negative ideas in her head to prevent her or to get her to use the Forrester Creations design on spite and envy, I guess, and jealousy. And, she does talk her into at least having a meeting with Thomas and trying to call it off, which she does, but it fails miserably. Then we have Thomas is looking um, from a distance. Coco and RJ interacting with one another, and RJ is really getting to know her and like her, and he thinks it's cute. So after Coco leaves, he goes in and jokes with his cousin about, well, really not his cousin, I guess it's his brother, step brother, of the comings and goings of Coco and how he's liking her. And then we go to Rick. Rick is making fun of Nicole of not being around T Dot all the time. Baby girl Nicole is telling Two Faces Maya and Rick T Dot is worrying too much about RJ and Coco. But Two Faces Maya and Rick agree with the worrying part because she is a spectra and they always have to look out for their best interests. Like, really? Really, Rick? Okay. Then we have baby girl Nicole says she's just going to and a friend to Coco, and that's all she cares about. So Rick said, "Okay, you can do that. We'll handle the heavy stuff, pretty much." And then that's when baby girl Nicole just look at him like he crazy. She's like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do me. You do you." So what's her name? Coco brings in some photos that baby girl Nicole was looking for to do some promotional things on the internet, and Ricky Rick don't pay her too much no mind, but he leave the women and he goes down to the cutting room, or I don't know where Ricky Rick think he going. Then we have small talk going on between sharpshooter RJ and Thomas about Coco. Then we have Sally still don't believe Saul and Grams, and Saul says it's true. We go to commercial, come back. So Coco is wondering why Ricky Rick doesn't look at her when she sees him in the hallways. He just turns his head or look like he's looking somewhere else, but not at her. Then Two-Faced Maya tells Coco it's not right, but yes, you have to uh, prove them wrong. You're always going to be looked at suspiciously and this, that, and the third. And, she's just saying, it just is where it is. You wanted to intern with us, but we don't really necessarily trust you because of your heritage and what your previous family did to their previous family, because they knew nothing of this because they weren't there. They're just married into the family. So they're trying to get her a lecture. I'm like, really? Really? That's what we're doing now? Anyway, leave from that situation, we go to Saul. Saul's on the outside telling Darlita that Sally is going to get her heart broken by Father Leader Thomas. Then we have Graham still trying to convince Sally that Thomas is not serious about her. He's always going to float in his circle. He's always going to marry Rich. Rich take care of Rich. Rich don't take care of Poe. It's pretty much what she was trying to tell Sally, and that they're Poe and they got to survive. And still in those fashions from forced creation, so it's what built them, and that's what they do. And she might get used to doing that. And then she's basically telling Sally that we're going to move forward with our plan, and you're going to follow suit. And then, I don't know what Grants comes in throwing the real big guilt trip on her, saying, you owe me. All I've done for you and this, that, and third. I'm like, you did it because you felt it was the right thing to do, Grams. Not trying to blackmail the girl just because you didn't have no true love or love that thought anything of you doesn't mean you should take somebody else's time. Because by them getting put on, enjoying a better life, they can make you have a better life in some ways. So, Graham's getting on my nerves. I did kind of like her, but now she just really getting on my nerves. Uh, cause Sally, Big Red, she is not okay. And then, she's just telling Sally to end the relationship today with Thomas. There's no going back. So then we move on to Darlita. Saul is asking Darlita to pay attention to the screen, let him know if anything exciting comes up on there. And of course, Darlita follows suit that, yeah, I can do that. Then we have Two-Faced Maya likes Coco's brooch. He tells us how beautiful it is. And Coco just puts the brooch on Two-Faced Maya to wear around, forced creations for a day. And Maya pretty much obliges. But, Coco says she'll come back and get it from her later. Then we have Darlita gets a peep show because she don't even know what she's actually looking at. But Ricky Rick finally comes back to play with Maya. And, she's going to show him how much she's missed him and this, that, and third. But from Darlita's perspective, she thinks it's Coco fooling around with Ricky Rick. But anyway, we move from that situation. We have Sally is meeting Thomas at their favorite restaurant that they first met initially when she came into town. Sally goes right on in and tells Thomas she knows about Caroline Spencer and that they have a child together. And she's wondering, why didn't you tell me? And he looks stupid, like, yeah, I should have told you, but uh excuse me. He said he was waiting for the right time. Like, Father Leader Thomas, there is no right time. If you start falling for someone and tell them up front what's what, and then continue to fall. But you were kind of like hiding that information. But then again, if she was into fashion and watching the tabloids and this, that, and the third, or you're just fashion week, especially Jared, you know about Jared, so she should have known about Caroline Spencer and the mess that she was involved in with not only Thomas's father, but him as well. So that comes as a disappointment that she don't know her stuff. Then we have Sally is telling Thomas what Grams wants her to tell him, but he ain't listening to none of that stuff about pushing him away and giving her up and giving up a life with her. Child, please. Thomas sitting up there talking about he want her to meet his child and he wants to include her in his family, honey. That's what he said. I'm like, okay, now wait a minute, writers. What happened to that storyline plot that you trying to put them together? I want to know what's going on. What is going on? Okay. Then we go to commercial. We come back. We have Darlita tries to call Coco to tell her to stop doing what she's doing or what she thinks she's seeing her do on camera. And Coco is just totally confused. She was like, okay, I'll call you later because right now I'm busy and I don't understand what you're saying anyway, but we'll talk. So she pretty much hangs up on Darlita. Then we have Thomas is telling Sally to not let him go. He loves her too much. I was like, wow, the big L word. Thomas, you have fallen real hard for her. But it's not easy to not. I mean, it's very easy to fall for somebody that matches up everything that you've always wanted in a person. And when you do find that person that kind of size up and line up real good with what you're looking for in a mate, you can, in a sense, have love at first sight or get to know a person for a couple of weeks or a month or so, and you're just smitten with them. Like, where you been all my life? We're just so compatible. So that's what Thomas is going through right now. And I hope the writers keep them together. I kind of love them. I don't even want to see Caroline come back trying to claim anything. She needs to stay wherever she is or whatever they got her at. I don't even want to see no her coming to fight for her man that she ain't been in the storyline or plot and God knows how long. Okay, but anyway, that was the Young and the Restless. That I'm sorry, guys, that was the Bold and the Beautiful. Because I'm getting ready to record the Young and the Restless as well for Friday's episode. Okay, but again, that was the Bold and the Beautiful that aired on April 7th, 2017, Friday. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it's late, but I had a hard weekend. Okay, guys, that's all I need to say. So sister needs some time to relax her feet, if you get my drift. Okay? Take care. Blessings.